On today's episode of Titus and Tate, the Coach K farewell tour has officially started. Duke is legit, and Tate Frazier is absolutely shook. Look at that face. Look at him.
Yes.
He's shook.
I'm shook. I'm shook. I can't believe it. Who would have thought? Coach K knew something, Titus. We knew the whole time. There's no way he announces this tour unless he knows he has a national title team. And it looked like it in Madison Square Garden. Or did it? Or did Kentucky just look really bad? That's the question.
That's a great question because going into the game, the narrative around Kentucky was that Kentucky kind of sucked based on their what we had seen in their exhibition games at least. Maybe they don't suck, but they weren't a complete team quite yet. Duke wins by 8, and now we're coming out of the Champions Classic saying, is Duke cutting down the nets in April? Because that's how the Champions Classic works. So we're going to talk about the Champions Classic earlier this week, but mostly we're just going to talk about the whole first, what has been 3 days of the college basketball season, and there's all sorts of insanity that's going on. Arizona State loses last night on a full-court shot, basically, Tate.
A Chandler Parsons shot, very similar to what he did to NC State.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. The Pac-12 update, we do have a Pac-12 update today because the Pac-12 is all over the place. There's a lot of narratives being formed out of the gate about the Pac-12, and I have to set them straight.
It's a top-heavy league. That's what I'm already saying from the jump, top-heavy league.
We're going to set it straight because a lot of people are saying a lot of things, and we are the only podcast that you should listen to when it comes to Pac-12 basketball.
Yes.
So I'm going to set everyone straight.
Yes.
I'm going to set everyone straight. Also, Tate, I have a special treat for the friends of the program. We have a very early, perhaps the earliest edition in the history of the show of the fraud power rankings. 3 days into the season, I can already sniff out who's a fraud and who's not. And we are unleashing on America right out of the gate. We're coming in hot this season. Fraud power rankings 3 days into the season. I have my top 5 ready. I am excited to highlight who are the biggest frauds in college basketball this year.
I like the frauds on Fridays. It feels like a holiday. I can't believe college basketball is in our face. We have Villanova playing UCLA tonight. That's going to be a great game that we can sort of preview, but also it starts at 11:30 on the East Coast, which is insanity to me, but I'm going to have fun trying to stay up and watch it. So we got a lot of good college basketball conversations, and that is great for Titus and Tate.
West Coast, best coast, baby. Who cares what time it starts on the East Coast? It's prime time on the West Coast. That's the only coast that matters. There's a ton to talk about. The season is here. We are 3 days in, and oh my God, the chaos is already unfolding right before our very eyes. We are excited to talk about it, but first,
Woody Durham.
All right, a lot to get to. We'll talk about the Champions Classic first, I think, because, it happened first, but more importantly, Duke, Tate. We have to talk about Duke. We knew we were going to talk about Duke going into the Champions Classic because it is Coach K's final season. It is the Coach K farewell tour. We had step one. We saw very little fanfare. I felt like ESPN would have talked about it a little more, that this is Coach K's final season. They barely mentioned it. They barely talked about it at all, really. So going in, we knew that we were going to talk about Duke coming out of the Champions Classic. Now we're here. It's 3 days removed, 2 days removed, however long it's been. I think most people have kind of moved on, but we haven't done a show since then. So let's quickly get through Champions Classic reactions, which is to say, let's talk about how Duke looks like they could win a national championship, and Paolo Banchero is every bit as good as advertised.
Well, we have to talk about a lot because you just said his name, Paolo Banchero, and I think it starts right there. That's where the buck starts. You know, it usually stops there, but it's going to start there with this show. And we learned a few years ago after we watched Zion dominate and RJ Barrett dominate that, you know, when we do a reaction show after the Champions Classic, we would say some crazy things. Like if you and I recorded after Tuesday night, I would be sitting here, Titus. I would have probably said Keels is, you know, going to win National Player of the Year. And
Agbaji is National Player of the Year. Ochai Agbaji.
Agbaji would have been 1B on my tier rankings of National Player of the Year. So that's what the Champions Classic does. It gives you irrational reaction. So I think it's good for us that we waited a couple of days. And it's still sticking with me because the entire media landscape prior to Tuesday night called the star of Duke Paolo Banchero, which is the American way to say the name. Now, he is half American, half Italian. We love half Italians here on this program. And the Italian way to say his name is Banchero. And that is what he is going with. And Tuesday night, that was revealed to the world. And were you just as I was shocked. I did not know that this was going to be a move, but it was very Duke thing to happen.
It was I got Trevon Duval flashbacks.
Yes.
Marquise Bolden, and like Duke makes me just rethink how I say everyone's name, and it scrambles my brain. And listen, I've since had people reach out to me and they're like, no, he's always been Banchero. It's just everyone's messed this up.
But why didn't you say that prior? I didn't hear those people saying that 2 weeks ago. Right? Like, there's a lot of loud people right now being like, we all know it's Banchero. And it's like, well, I didn't hear you 2 weeks ago. Where were you? Because I would have liked to have known that. I felt like an idiot. I'm watching this game, and immediately Dan Schulman's like, and we got Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
And, Jay Billis is like all in on it. He's like rolling his R's. He's like, Banchero. You know what I mean? Like, they making it even more. And I'm like, what is happening? And then not only that, he lives up to the hype, right? Like you said it. I mean, watching Duke at the end of the game, after, everything goes well for Duke, Coach K, I wish we could pull up the shot of Coach K. He's in the middle of the court, and he is like, you know how if you saw like Kieran Culkin on SNL, he's like reaching up and he's like, give me uppies, he's like pull me. Like, that's what Coach K was doing. He was like, give me more. Like, give me more of an ovation. Give me more. More. You know what I mean? He's Adam Driver in Star Wars. More. He wanted more of an ovation, and they didn't give it to him, which I was upset about. I thought it was ridiculous. Give the man what he wants.
Oh my God. So Coach K part aside, let's talk about the Duke team. Specifically, how good is this team? Because I think that's going to be the other subplot. We have the farewell tour. We knew that the hoopla around Coach K was going to exist throughout this entire season. Every stop along the way, they're going to highlight like how many games Coach K has won on this court and against this coach and all that sort of thing. We know that. What I think was a little bit of a question mark coming into the year was how good could Duke actually be? Is this a national title team, or is this Paolo is awesome and a bunch of they got some pieces, but I think most people expect them to be better than last year, Tate. But there's a question as to whether they could win a national title, or whether like the case for Duke being a national title contender was just simply Coach K magic in his final year. Like that seemed to be like what some people would make the argument about. They're like, I like Duke, and you're like, why? Well, because like it's Coach K's final year, and I think there's going to be some mystique around that. And you're like, okay, but do they have good players?
Yeah, but beyond that, the basketball. Yeah.
So now that we've seen them one game, my reaction was this. I still sort of this is not me throwing cold water on Duke fans or whatever. You should be excited about this. Paolo's awesome. Paolo is going to be awesome. I felt when I said it like a couple weeks ago or however long ago when I said that I felt like by the end of the non-conference season, there was going to be like a Zion like aura around Paolo Banchero. They got me saying it right already. Paolo Banchero. That came out of my mouth, and I was like, why did I just say that? That's insane that I said that. I feel a little bit better about it after watching him one game. I was like, it's not going to reach the Zion levels, but it's going to be up there. It's going to be like in that stratosphere of just like everyone's tuning in just to see what this guy's going to do next, whatever. But Tate, I will say, and you'll like what I'm about to say, that I'm not completely sold that Duke has a great team. I think Duke has I think Trevor Keels, I knew nothing about this guy. He absolutely impressed me. I think he's going to be awesome moving forward. He's an absolute tank, and I like Duke's front court. Mark Williams and Theo John off the bench is awesome. Like just having a bruiser that comes in and has experience. Yeah, there are parts about Duke that I like. I'm not completely sold that a team where Wendell Moore is your third best player is going to win a national championship, and like counting on Jeremy Roach to play 35 to 40 minutes a night is going to win you a national championship. I'm not sold on that after one night of beating a Kentucky team that struggled in their two exhibitions. I'm not sold on that. Right?
Yeah. You're not sold on Keel mode? That's the new Duke hashtag that they love. Trevor Keels. He's going to go into Keels mode and knock people down. I actually was very impressed with the freshman. I do think that Paolo Banchero was a little bit of a, I think he's getting overblown as the Zion candidate. I think that's maybe a little bit too far.
Impossible.
You can't be the next Zion. There's only one Zion. But I like to think he's like Carlos Boozer with an in-and-out dribble. That's kind of like the vibes that he's giving me. But
are you insane? Listen, like Boozer was good, so like that's not. I don't mean to laugh at Carlos Boozer, but
no,
also,
exactly. But I think he's Carlos Boozer with a modern flair to his game. But Keels is the one. I mean, Keels is the one that really got my attention. He has like a fire to him, you know. Like Duke needed that. When you said it, like everyone had the hype of Coach K. Yeah. But we needed some sort of like basis in reality. And now, like when I see Keels and I see Paolo, I'm like that 1-2 punch. I could see them carrying Coach K into March with a lot of momentum. And they have the bigs, they have the bodies. Theo John off the bench. I think that, you know, as far as fouls, they can match up with any team in the country. So they have the pieces. But again, Kentucky is really it might have been a bomb. You know what I mean? Coach Cal told us it was a blip, Titus. But it might have been a bomb. I'm
a little worried about Kentucky. Not even from this one game. I think just like watching Kentucky, it's obvious to me that they have a ceiling. They have a very clear ceiling in terms of talent. They have a lot of guys that I don't know. They have names that we know because as we talked about it all offseason, like they dipped into the transfer portal in a way they never have before. But they just don't have like Kellen Grady is that's the problem with the transfer portal is this, Tate, that like you're getting known entities, but you're also not leaving yourself a lot of room for the growth. You know what I mean? Like that has always been the one thing you could talk yourself into if you're a Kentucky fan is every year when you bring in the 5 stars, you're like, we suck right now or we're shaky right now. But my God, look at the talent, look at the athleticism. Like if we can just pull it together and if these guys can figure it out, if these guys can become if these kids can become my guys, like, oh my God, just think about, and the problem with the transfer portal is like, on the one hand, you got a little bit more known entity. You got the Oscar Shoeboys and the Kellen Gradys and the Severe Wheelers. You have those guys that like, you know what they are and they've played college basketball before. The bad part is you know what they are and you know that like, this is kind of who they're going to be the entire season. And I think Kentucky's going to make the NCAA tournament. Let's not get crazy. I don't think that the bottom's going to fall out from the program. They're going to be a good team. I struggle to figure out a reality where I'm going to look up in March and think like Kentucky's got a shot to win a national title with this team. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. If we're doing champions, you know, classic kind of tier rankings, I think that Kansas and Duke are on the same tier, right? They're like actual title contenders. Kansas might be the best team in the country.
Kansas might be the best team. I think putting Duke on the same tier as Kansas is unfair to Kansas, honestly. But,
okay, I like that.
Yeah, I'll say that for you, so you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be the one to say it. Kansas is clearly the best team of these 4 to me. Clearly, Agbaji
and then
is.
I think he might be the national player of the year. Not even kidding. I mean, I know we were joking about overreactions, but if he plays like that all season, he's undeniable, and he's a two-way player. I mean, Agbaji starts on the defensive end, and it goes from there. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this Kansas team. It's like Agbaji doesn't have to get his to have an impact. He's going to have an impact in the game no matter what.
Right.
And then you got guys like Remy Martin, who we know who he is. He's a guy that can go get a bucket. He's Kyle's guy.
Or do we know who he is, dude? He didn't even shoot in the first half. That's what that's what stood out to me about Kansas was as you said, two things. Agbaji has had moments. I mean, when he first came on the scene,
flashes.
Yeah, when he first came on the scene at Kansas, he was being redshirted, right? His first year, and then they pull the redshirt in January, and he just starts playing. It was like, who the hell is this kid? And he was an athletic freak and was a great defender, but and he would show flashes, and I feel like he had a few offensive games where he just like went nuts. But he never really like fully. That's been his story his whole career. It's like we need you to put this together more. So I don't want to get too crazy because it's been one game, and we've seen individual games from Agbaji before where you're like, this guy is nuts. But that stood out to me. Number one, as you said, Agbaji, a guy that like that his bread and butter is defense, and he has 29 points, and the way he goes about it is like just so methodical and so smooth and easy, and it looked like Michigan State wasn't even trying to guard him. And then meanwhile, Remy Martin, a guy who, like, my interpretation of Remy Martin is just like he's out. He has no idea what the score is at any point in time. He's just trying to get his like 20 to 25 points. Yeah. And that's what he doesn't even shoot in the first half, Tate. 0 shot attempts, and he has 15 in the second half, and he plays well. And like, I don't know, is Bill Self getting through to Remy Martin?
I was going to say, I think Bill Self was like, hey, Remy, show me that you don't have to score to have an impact on this game. And then in the second half, he was like, all right, you got the green light again. And Remy goes and gets his 15. But regardless, they don't have to rely on Remy. Like, McCormick is great. I think Bobby Pettiford, this freshman that they brought in, he's like a very solid, true, traditional point guard that they can rely on. And he's going to grow and get better by the time we get to January, February. So, like, the pieces that Kansas has, it looks like title pieces.
Yeah.
And Bill Self looks very comfortable. We joked about Izzo and him having that moment, after the game where they're both like kind of, yucking it up with each other. We saw that. Like, Izzo's like, this is a learning experience. Self's like, thanks for getting my boys to play a real game and,
right.
getting them locked in. You know what I mean? So for as far as that game, I feel like both sides kind of won,
Yeah.
Which is hard to say.
I think Michigan State wanted to win the game, though. Because I was thinking about that going in. Like both of these, Self and Izzo are both coaches historically who would love to lose an early game, so then that way they can just MF their teams in practice and say, I told you guys you're not that good, all that. I think Michigan State is in a position where they need to think they're good. Like, these players, they need confidence. Yeah. Tom Izzo has told them all offseason they suck, and like they know they suck.
I think Kansas proved it.
And Kansas proved it. And I feel like Michigan State's going back and licking their wounds, and they're like, do we suck? And it's like, you might suck. You might suck. Like Michigan State, Michigan. Here's how I know Michigan State is a blue blood in basketball sense, is because I look at Gabe Brown, Malik Hall, Marcus Bingham, really those three guys.
Yeah.
They are not that good, Tate. They're not good basketball players per se. I don't, but like they wear a Michigan State jersey. I want to talk myself into Gabe Brown every single time I watch him play. I'm like, Gabe Brown.
Same.
And it's because he's wearing a Michigan State jersey.
He takes the leap. Yeah.
Yes. But if Gabe Brown was on a MAC team, would he stand out to you at all? If Gabe Brown played for Bowling Green. Yeah. If Gabe Brown played for Bowling Green and they were playing at Michigan State in the season opener or something, would you notice Gabe Brown at all? Would he be like lighting it up for? No, I don't think he would.
No.
And that's my concern with Michigan State. So, I don't know. Hogard was great. AJ Hogard off the bench, he was awesome for them, and they're going to be fine. They're going to make the tournament, but
exactly.
I mean, like it's just there's really I don't know. There's nothing to be excited about if you're a Michigan State fan, I don't think, unfortunately. Also, by the way,
leave that game and you're happy to be there. Yeah, a little bit.
By the way, did you see Foster Lawyer had 27 in his first game at Davidson?
I did not, but that's awesome. I love to see that. The new Steph Curry, Foster Lawyer.
Foster Lawyer
He
went
should have
nuts.
played more. That's what all the that'd be like Andrew Playtech going to Wofford and dropping 30 points, and I'm like, where did this come from?
Where's this guy been?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh man. What else for the Champions Classic? Is there anything else? I mean, there's really no point. That's the trap we fall into every year. Is like pretending like this.
Yeah.
This is going to. I think the non-overreactions. The everyone cool your jets, and let's really think about this for a second. The non-overreactions to me are I think Kansas is very much a national title favorite. And I think Paolo Banchero is awesome. I think
it goes by Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
I think that is a big takeaway. I also want to point out that on our last show, our last preview, you like to point out my scoops. You say you're not a scooper, but you scooped this. You said Jay Billis would get the exclusive Coach K interview.
I scooped that Jay Billis would get the scoop.
You scooped it.
I scooped the scooper.
You scooped the scooper, and so we have to point that. I think that's my final note: is that Jay Billis did as you predicted and you expected, and he's really drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, I mean, I love Jay Billis. I think he's a capital J. I mean, you can't spell journalist without J, but. My goodness, he is loving the Coach K farewell tour, and he's a part of it. He put out
his list of the best logos in college basketball. Duke was number one.
Number one. He said it's iconic. He was like the basketball in between. I forgot about like the logo with the basketball in it. That's how forgettable it is. Yes, number one.
To Jay's credit, he's been pretty good. At least this is my opinion on him. He's been pretty good throughout his career of not being super biased towards Duke.
He's been anti-Duke usually. Like traditionally, he has always been like he wants to go further to get away from that, but now he's leaning into it.
That's what I mean. I think like Coach K is calling in the favors now, and he's just like pushing every single button. He's like, Jay, now, all of it, now. We need it all. Empty the chamber, Jay. Go.
More Jeezy tweets. More.
Here's my question to you. Is that Coach K's last sit-down interview he does with Jay Billis this season? Or are we getting another one at the start of conference play where Jay's like, I sat down with the man who is the focal point of college basketball, and here's what he told me. And it's just like the exact same questions as the first one.
I think he sits down before the Carolina game at Cameron, right? That's the game.
Right,
and I think he does 94 feet with him, and I think he even walks like out of the tunnel with K, you know what I mean? And he does one of those things where like K's like, this is it. And he's like, I'm actually jealous, Jay. I'm jealous that you got to run out of this tunnel as a player. I never got to run out as a player.
Dude, Tate, here's an idea for you. You do 94 feet with Kay and Shire. Do it like the Adrian Brody Succession scene where you start just you want to do 94 feet with Kay, and you just keep walking. you just walk. You do like 94,000 miles with Kay. We're just walking all over campus.
He won't ask for water. I'm like, this is the shortcut, but sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah, and you just keep walking, and Kay's like hunched over. I'm going to call my shot with Billis again. I'm going to say before Duke plays Syracuse the first. Did they play twice this year or once? I don't look at the schedule.
I think they played twice.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think they played twice.
They probably played twice. Before their first matchup, he's going to sit down with Boeheim and Kay and get a exclusive with the two of them, and they're laughing and chumming it up. And meanwhile, Boeheim's like got his calculator out doing the math to figure out what he has to average, how many wins he has to average, and for how many seasons to pass K and all that sort of stuff. All right, moving on. That's it. That's the Champions Classic. Do you have any other takeaways? That's it. You're good to put.
Those are the big takeaways. I mean, Banchero. We're going to talk about Banchero a whole lot, and I really want to find ground zero as to who knew his name was going to be Banchero and why they didn't tell anybody. But I mean, because Gavoni, all these draft guys, Titus, Vicini, all these draft guys have been calling him Banchero, right? Like I'm not crazy. Every single person called him Banchero until Tuesday night.
Well, to be fair,
and now no one's saying anything.
Gavoni and Vicini are both two dudes that also get their name. Just they're all over the place with like how you pronounce their names as well. So
yeah, they don't care,
and they just kind of nod along. Like I've called Sam. I've said his last name 12 different times to his face, and he's just like, "Yep, yeah, that's it. You killed it." That's exactly it.
Yep, keep that one. Yep.
What about Zion? Is it Zion or Zion? I don't know. There is something about Duke though. You're absolutely right. Like these guys get to Duke and they Trayvon Duval is the worst.
Well, I think it's like
Trayvon Duval is the all-time worst.
Duval, yeah. But I do think it comes from like when Michael, came to North Carolina, he was Mike, and then they went by Michael. So I think it's like this is Coach K's way for the Duke guys. He's like, you got to change your name a little bit to rebrand yourself. So we'll see.
On the one hand, it's their name, and if that's how they say their name, like we have to say,
of course,
like you have to respect however they pronounce it and whatever. On the other hand, do you think there is this like Trayvon Duval was man, that was pushing the limit to me because I was like, this is performance art what you're doing. You're just like seeing if we will.
We've seen how far you can get away with this.
Yes, and I wonder if there's going to be a player that goes to Duke where he's like, I say his name's like Mike Smith, and he's like, you can call me Mike Smythe, and I'm just like, no, dude, not doing it. Simply not doing it. You're Mike.
cannot do it.
I will not participate.
I'll be unbiased here. I mean, Reggie Bullock. When Reggie Bullock came to Carolina and he told us that his name was Reggie Bullock, I mean, everyone was like, we know a lot of Bullocks, and not one of them goes by Bullock, but sure. You know what I mean? If that's the move.
I'm just so fascinated by guys that just like allow this to happen. Like, because didn't Travis Kelce say something too where he's like, my name is Kels, but everyone said Kelsey, and I just rolled with it?
He said it was different. Kelk or it was something like that. Yeah, exactly. and then he was like everyone liked Kelsey, so whatever.
Stephen Colbert his brother pronounces it Colbert, and he pronounces it as Colbert. That's a true. I remember he had his brother on a show one time, and his brother is Colbert, and he's Colbert.
No, because we always thought, like, I don't know about you, but I always thought like the caricature, right, was Colbert. and that was like, you know, and then like he obviously was Stephen Colbert, but like the character was Stephen Colbert. But then like Stephen Colbert is so lost in the bit that like he is Stephen Colbert.
And then he took over at CBS, and I was like, oh, so it's going to be Stephen Colbert now.
Yes,
And he's like, no, it's still Colbert. All right, we're getting too far into the weeds. Let's move on. Let's do you have any other games you want to talk about, or should we dive into the Pac-12 update? Because I feel like the Pac-12 is
let's go to the Pac-12. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, because there's a lot to get to with the Pac-12 update. As a reminder, we are the only West Coast national college basketball podcast. I don't know if that's true, but we are the only podcast that really has a segment devoted to West Coast basketball. And man, it paid off in spades last year when the Pac-12 was the
Premier conference.
The premier conference in the NCAA tournament. How quickly everybody forgets. I'm seeing just like all sorts of slander being thrown out there already. The Pac-12, in case you missed it, has lost 3 already bye games is what they're called, Tate, where you pay a smaller school to come get their ass kicked. But then sometimes it backfires and you pay the school to come kick your ass. The Pac-12 has already had 3 such occasions. UC San Diego won at Cal. Northern Illinois beat Washington at Washington. And then just last night, UC Riverside hits a 3-quarter court shot, a Chandler Parsons type shot, as you said, to beat Arizona State at the buzzer. And that's and from those 3, which by the way, Arizona State, Cal, and Washington, if you're someone coming into the season thinking that they were going to do anything of note, you're an idiot. So like let's get ahead of that. Like these 3 do not represent the conference as a whole. So please get that out of my face. But everyone wants to take those 3 bullet points, Tate, and now all of a sudden build this narrative that the Pac-12 is a joke again. And I just want to stop and remind everybody that the UCLA Bruins, your number 2 team in the country, are
look great.
Look fantastic. They play tonight. They play Villanova tonight. We'll know more tonight. Maybe we'll talk about that game in a little bit, do a little preview. But UCLA is ranked number 2 in the country. Meanwhile, Gonzaga is ranked number 1 in the country. Famous Pac-12 team, the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Top 2 teams in the country from the Pac-12.
Top 2 teams in the country in the Pac-12. And as you said, take Villanova, UCLA tonight. I love this. I absolutely love this because people on the East Coast have their panties in a bunch about this. Villanova, UCLA tips off at 11:30 Eastern tonight. Gonzaga, Texas is tomorrow, Saturday night. It tips off at 10:30 Eastern. I love that the West Coast has gotten to a point where they call the shots. I should say we call the shots, Tate. We don't care about the East Coast. We don't care. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're not going to stay.
Agreed.
You don't want to stay up tonight to watch Villanova UCLA? That's your loss.
You don't get to enjoy good basketball. Yeah, this is for the West Coast. This is, and it's also like Pac-12 after dark. That's always been a thing. So the fact that like UCLA now can own that on the East Coast, Pac-12 after dark.
Yep. So Pac-12 is very, very healthy. We should mention that USC beat Cal State Northridge by 40. The USC Trojans, an Elite 8 team that
they look good too.
They look good too. They're probably going to beat UCLA twice this year, and that just seems to be how it goes. Boogie Ellis is the USC point guard, by the way, a name that people might be familiar with. The guy who
Memphis.
Committed. Yeah, is he a Duke defector? Does he count? He was committed to Duke.
He is. Yeah, and then he left for Memphis, and now he's defected from Memphis all the way to USC.
Yeah,
quite a climb.
So USC looks good, but nobody wants to talk about that. What else do we have? Chicago State won its first game in almost 2 years. They're in the WAC, Tate. That counts. That's West Coast basketball, literally Western Athletic Conference. So
chalk it up.
Chalk it up to another win for the West Coast. Chicago State wins its first game in 2 years. What else do we have? The Grand Canyon student section was absolutely bananas. Are we going to talk about that?
This is someone reached out to us and said, we got to put on our hard hats, our journalist hats. We have to get down to Grand Canyon. Even Harry, against all odds is Harry, reached out to me. He saw the video of the student section. He said, I have to go to one of these games with all exclamation points. I feel like Harry's a great guinea pig. I think Harry also could infiltrate, find the source, and give us a full story about what's really going on. He also probably could masquerade as a student at Grand Canyon, so that's something that we could probably lean into. But they're going crazy, Titus, and the Bryce Drew era is an era. You know what I mean? Like Jerry Colangelo, as we've talked about, I mean, we're joking, but we're not really joking. Like they have like a basketball conglomerate of the most powerful players that are behind the scenes at Grand Canyon, and they're building something. We don't know what it is, but it's like wild country. I want to go find out.
We have to find out. Yeah. Does Harry? Where does Harry live now? Is he Vegas or is he in
Phoenix?
Arizona? He's in Phoenix. Oh, he's got to go to a game.
He's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to go to a game. Let's do that. Let's
I think
make
we should
that
all
trip.
go.
Let's make that trip. Yeah.
I'm in. Jim also has to go, of course.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Jim's gonna do some research with the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, R&D department for Titus and Tate. Get in there, figure out what's going on.
What else? I guess I don't know what else we need to hit with the bullet points. But I just want to do general discussion that the Pac-12, as a reminder, 3 of the Elite 8 teams in the NCAA tournament last year were Pac-12 teams. And that does not even include Gonzaga. It was USC, Oregon State, UCLA were in the Elite 8. Gonzaga was in the Elite 8, as we know, Tate. The West Coast is the best coast. The top 2 teams in the country are West Coast teams. I saw Ken Pom has UCLA ranked 7th out of the gate, Tate, which I don't know if that's something to monitor or something we're going to have to keep an eye on, but that seems a little sus.
It's a little worrying.
Especially, doesn't Ken Pom live in Utah? He should get it. He should understand West Coast basketball here. I don't love this algorithm. We got to tweak the algorithm a little bit, but
I think he's trying to save our hearts from jumping too deep into the pool with UCLA. You know what I mean? He's trying to give us a little bit of a reservation, but at the same time, at large, I think the large scale conversation was the Pac-12 was trying to get their schools to schedule games and win 75% of their non-conference games. There's been this huge push to get them to kind of bulk up and help their non-conference, resumes as we get closer to March. But like you said, we got 3 Elite 8 teams. The meme of the people saying that the Pac-12 sucks, you know what I mean? It has outlasted the reality of the situation, right? It was always fun to make fun of the Pac-12 and say the Pac-12 is terrible, but that's not the case anymore. But we're still using the same jokes, and it's like, find new material, move on, get over it. The Pac-12 is here. The Pac-12 is here to stay. Yes, UC Riverside was thinking about getting rid of their athletic program not too long ago. We know that.
but
we know that.
In all honesty, this is honest to God. This is how I feel about this. That this is bullshit. That
I am agreeing with you. It sounds like I'm being sarcastic.
I know. Every time we talk about the Pac-12, it comes across as sarcasm. The Pac so the Pac-12 loses 3 games that the conference that look terrible for the conference, and that becomes a sticky point, and it's LOL Pac-12. The ACC literally lost 3 bye games too. The Virginia loses to Navy. Miami, Ohio beats Georgia Tech. Who was the third one, Tate, that I'm forgetting?
Pittsburgh.
Pitt loses to the Citadel at home. Gets blown out by the Citadel at home. I mean,
it has a transfer right after the game. One of their stars transfers literally right after the game.
But this isn't this isn't like, it's not like nobody's talking about those 3. I don't mean to suggest that everyone's trying to not talk about the ACC, but you're not really hearing people say the ACC is an absolute joke of a conference based on 3 of their. I get Virginia, that's more damning than anything. Virginia losing at home is more damning than Arizona State losing on a full court shot, because Virginia got their asses handed to them by Navy. Virginia didn't score for 10 minutes, the final 10 minutes of that game. I don't know. And then
Virginia also is. Yeah, Virginia's also a premier program and ranked in the top 25. So, I mean, it is much bigger of a storyline. But like you said, we're too lost in the joke. The joke is out there that the Pac-12, it's funny when the Pac-12 is struggling, and we all got to get these jokes off and make fun of them, and nobody wants to make fun of Virginia or, talk bad about Capel because he's Coach K's boy, or, point out Josh Pastner because we love Josh Pastner and he's got the face mask. You know what I mean? So it's the ACC is kind of the 3 teams that lost. They all kind of got they got lucky that they fall into the good PR. Yeah, this
is the problem. When the ACC loses, when the ACC teams lose, it's LOL those teams. It's it's just a poor reflection on those individual teams or those programs at that moment in time. When any of the Pac-12 teams lose, everyone has to wear it. And then the reason I'm already preemptively mad about this is because I already know what's going to happen come conference play, where UCLA is going to lose at Washington State, say, and instead of the narrative being wow, Washington State, pretty good team, huge win, program win. They're on the rise. Yep. The money ball is working. And Pullman, oh my God, it's going to be I knew UCLA was a fraud. Get them out of my face that they losing to Washington State. How do you lose to Washington State? Or insert Pac-12 team here. UCLA will lose to Colorado or Utah because it's a mountain trip and the altitude messes with your brain.
Changes everything.
Yeah, they'll drop one of those, and then it'll be like, see, I can't take UCLA seriously as a national title contender because they lost one of these games. When that doesn't happen in any other conference, and I'll stop attacking the ACC. I'll point the finger at the Big Ten as well. For God's sakes, Nebraska loses to Western Illinois at home. Ohio State needed a miracle against Akron to pull that out. Tate. Indiana didn't play well against Eastern Michigan. Buffalo hung around Michigan. Michigan ultimately pulled away from, but I don't know. Anyway, it's like the narratives about the conferences. It's not fair. It's BS. Get it out of my face. The Pac-12 is legit, and we know that on this program. So there you go.
I think that we've come full circle because I think at one time, there may have been a time where, UCLA does lose to Washington State. And if I'm not, fully immersed into the Pac-12 culture like I am now, being a West Coast basketball guy, I wouldn't have got it. I would have done what you just said. I would have been the dunce. I would have been like, how do you lose to Washington State? You know what I mean? You guys get out of my face. But now that I know what the Pac-12 is, I know the talent that's there. I mean, we haven't even talked about Oregon. Oregon's a sleeper. Oregon's a very talented team.
Oregon's going to win the Maui Invitational. They're going to win the Maui Invitational.
Yes, I like that. They're going to win. Yeah. I like that.
They definitely are.
So they're a Maui bump candidate. So if that happens, what the Pac-12 needs is this second week, a good push, right? You need UCLA, even if they need to either beat Villanova or they need to be in the game and it be a good game and it gets people revved up. And then Oregon needs to win the Maui Invitational, and they need just a good push into Christmas. Yeah. And then once we get into conference play, you hope you have some teams like an Arizona that steps up and has a good year with Tommy Lloyd and things like that.
I think Arizona's going to be okay too. I think
so too.
Yeah. There's your Pac-12 update.
I like it. I like that we're fired up about the Pac-12. I mean, there was a time when this was a punishment, right? I mean, we started the Pac-12 update as a punishment, and now it's a reward.
I'm attacking everybody for disrespecting the Pac-12.
Yeah, no, we're yelling at ourselves.
Literally how this segment started.
We're looking in the mirror, yelling at ourselves.
This is the Pac-12 update is the most obvious example of projection that has ever existed. That I'm just like, how dare you, East Coasters? How dare you not respect it? Oh my God, absolutely hilarious. Have we spent enough time talking about Arizona State losing it at the buzzer on a full court shot? Because that is, I mean, if you could pick one Pac-12 program to lose in such a manner, and it'd be the funniest thing you've ever seen, Arizona State has to be number one on that list, right? I can't imagine a pro like you. I saw the clip and I just thought to myself, this is so perfectly Bobby Hurley at Arizona State, because I also saw people getting on Bagley for going for the steal, and then Bagley's in the post-game press conference like his quote was, "This is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life," or the biggest mistake in my career was going for that steal. And then people you can't go for the steal there. You gotta, yeah. And I saw like the Galaxy brains on Twitter were like, you gotta play good defense. Don't go for the steal. Get a hand up on the shoot. The guy was 70 feet away. The guy hit a 70-footer at the buzzer, and you're like, you got to close out better. You got to chop and get high hands, hand down, man down from 70 feet away.
I saw people ripping him for going for the steal, but I assumed it was kind of just literally the definition of Captain Hindsight. If he gets the steal, then obviously game over. Yes. And he's literally an inch away. You know what I mean? This is the Al Pacino game of inches speech. But I mean, he was an inch away from making the play. And the shot is a ridiculous shot. But also, I mean, the only thing that would have been funnier than Arizona State, it would have been Sean Miller at Arizona, right? I mean, so it would have been it still would have been an Arizona school. But if it was against Arizona to start this season and Sean Miller was coaching at Arizona and this happened, I would have been like that. That's almost poetic. Bobby Hurley, I like Bobby Hurley. I like the Hurleys. I want the Hurleys to win and be successful. But it's not going to be a good year for the Hurley brothers. The Hurley brothers are trending towards the Miller brothers. You know what I mean? They're on the same track where they both could be starting a podcast very soon. So,
you know where my mind went, Tate, when that shot goes down, as it does when anything bad happens in Arizona State basketball, to our old ringer buddy Zach Schwartz, who didn't we have on the show last when did we had him on because Lou Dort went nuts in the bubble,
Josh Christopher,
right? Yeah,
Marcus Bagley. We had a lot of 5 stars and we had a lot of promise, and I'm pretty sure the last time that we heard from Zach Schwartz on the show, he promised us a Pac-12 championship. We are still waiting for the trophy.
Jim.
But Zach, it's great to have you back on the show.
Oh,
boys, Boys, I appreciate you having me. I just want to say and declare now, I'm an Arkansas guy. You know, we go way back. I'm all aboard the Must Bus now. No, it hurts, fellas. It fucking hurts. Normally, I have to wait till January before Bobby puts the knife in my back. And I'm glad we could get shit started early, you know? I told Titus this. I smoked 1 million cigarettes last night and just wandered around thinking about the one true GOAT, Herb Sendek. And, you know, I miss that man.
A true leader of men.
What are the overall vibe? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're not a Bobby Hurley guy, but like, what is the Zach? You texted me like 3 days ago and were like optimistic about Arizona State basketball this season.
Not only did I text you, I texted. I have a coworker who's a Duke fan, and I said that Bobby is the like one true. He should take over for K. That's the guy. Like, kind of joking, but like really trying to speak it into existence that we're gonna have a hot year, and to watch the caravan just roll on itself 2 games into the year really hurts. I like Bobby, and I when I was at ASU, I never got to see us like recruit to that level. You know, I worked for the basketball team for 4 years. We never landed anyone above like a high 3.5 star guy under Sendek. Bobby comes in, you get Dort, Josh Christopher, Bagley, all these exciting guys. But the problem is that like he has the other issue where like Herb was really good at X's and O's. Bobby's not. And it worked for a while because the like non-conference guys couldn't figure it out. And the conference guys did. And now it seems everyone knows the book on Bobby. And it's not good.
Even UC Riverside. Even UC Riverside, who almost got rid of their athletic department, got the book on Bobby.
Where does this rank in terms of...
Tate, we will not disparage the fine institution that is UC Riverside, all right? That is the Duke University of Riverside, all right? Like, they're going to have a hot year. No, we shouldn't.
Kawhi's hometown. Yeah.
Zach, where does this rank? Where on the despair rankings of Arizona? Where are you at? Not even this one game, but just as a program, the program momentum. Where you sit right now? Give us a 1 to 10 despair for Arizona State basketball. After losing on a full court shot to a team that shouldn't even exist, as State pointed out.
Like 10 would be being like number 3 in the country and then losing to every conference team, no matter how bad they are. That's probably a 10, like of devastation. This is like an 8.5, a 9. Like, we never even got out of the fucking gates. And now I like, what do I even have to look forward to? I bought so much Luther Muhammad stock, Titus. I'm broke now.
Mistake.
I got nothing. I got nothing. Can we start a GoFundMe to help get rid of some of the stock? Bro, I don't get it. Like, how did this happen?
We're asking you.
And Zach, we have to ask because on this show, he was known as Mr. December. We called him this. We gave him the belt every single year. He got our hopes up. You would come clamoring to us by January saying, put me on the show. Let me yell about Arizona State. But now we're done in November. So what do we do with Mr. December? Who do we give this to?
You know, Tate, I'm just glad. Now I have all this time for the rest of my year that I don't need to be bothering you guys. You know, we're getting this out of the way early. I'm getting the appearance in now. I don't know, man. I don't know how this happened. I had the epiphany with Herm this year that my life as an ASU fan is always going to constantly swing, and it's the same with basketball between a very good recruiting coach and then a very bad recruiting coach that's really good at X's and O's. And that's going to happen just in perpetuity until I die. All right, like it's never gonna get better.
Zach, do you think that ASU being a great party school actually works against you? That like the thought might be that you could get all the recruits and you guys don't actually have to go to class and you can just party and all that, and you could like get good players in, but then once they're there, you lose them. They're lost. They don't practice. They don't, like, are they too distracted? Is that the problem, Zach?
Are they too distracted? For sure. I mean, who can blame them? All right, I was too distracted when I was there, and I never had to play in games. I was just sitting on the bench, hungover, looking at these guys, knowing they're hungover, and now they have to go guard Zach LaVine or any of these dudes that came through the Pac-12. It's bad. I don't think it's ever going to get better. I wish Bobby the best.
It's bad. It's bad. I don't think it's ever going to get better. That's the takeaway from Arizona State basketball. 2 games into the season, whatever it is.
Pac-12 update.
It's bad. I don't think it's ever going to get better.
RIP Arizona State.
Let me tell you something, fellas. I bought tickets to watch ASU play USC. Then I watched them lose, or they were losing 28-0 at halftime to Washington State, and I just canceled my flight. Similarly, I had tickets to go see Bobby and the boys play Baylor University at the end of November.
Oh, no.
And I very quickly emptied that shopping cart last night.
Well,
So that's not going to go. Actually, honestly, that's the game he wins.
I was gonna
Like,
say they're gonna win that game, and you're gonna get pulled back in. You're gonna text us like, "Can I come on the show again to talk about how great we are?"
We're back.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna hit you guys up and ask if I can come, if I can do the pod while I get a Bobby Hurley tattoo on my back.
My last question, Zach. Where does the Pac-12 in general, like, you know, the SEC is famous for being the conference that like rallies around each other, and you know, Vanderbilt fans are chanting SEC as Bama's lifting a national title in football and all that. They come together. They love their conference. Where do you feel as an Arizona State fan with Pac-12 pride, the idea of like UCLA winning a national title this year? Are you for that, or are you like, I hate those guys, screw them, and I don't want to cheer for any teams in the Pac-12?
As long as it's not Arizona, we're good.
Okay.
This is UCLA's conference. I know Arizona's not going to do shit. Like, even if they have a good year, they're still not winning a title. I'm fine.
Well, Zach, that's a bold thing to say.
You know what? Kid, I'm going to say this right now. I promise you that's not happening. All right?
All right.
If it goes wrong, they're gonna just ANC fans are just gonna nail me to the A at the top of A Mountain, and I'm gonna be sacrificed to that. I'm very excited for UCLA. I just moved up further into Brentwood, and I'm right near I'm pretty close to the campus. So like, hey, let's party. You know, I'm 30. I got no shame. I'll wander through that campus with the beer in my hand, celebrating that national title. My God. Yeah, let's do it. All right. You know what? Fuck it.
Like,
which one of you guys wants me to root for your team this year? That's my question. I got some availability now.
Stay with Arkansas.
I don't need your bad mojo on the Ohio State bandwagon.
I don't need Herb Sendek juice rubbing off on us.
Titus, next time we go golf, I'm going to roll up with an Ohio State golf bag.
We don't need that. You can stay over there, Zach. Stay over there.
All right, fair enough. I can.
The other thing I was thinking, I was watching that Arizona State game. Like, Remy Martin, he didn't even play. Is he in the doghouse with their Bobby Hurley? What happened? Why did
Remy transferred to Kansas?
Oh, he did. Oh,
yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. That's another team I get to root for that's going to be good.
Oh, you actually like Remy. You like Remy on Kansas. I thought you were.
He's not. It's similar to Russell Westbrook, where I like to root from him afar. Now that Russell Westbrook's a Laker, it's a hell of a lot less fun. But Remy being someone else's kind of problem down the stretch, where he's throwing a 3-pointer and it just hits the backboard and goes flying the other direction, someone else's problem. All right, but I will root for him. I wish him the best. I mean, there's a really good story from when he was at Sierra Canyon that I would love to tell someday, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a legend, and I wish him the best. Really, you know what? It's Luther Muhammad season now, though. We've pivoted.
Get out of here. Yep. Let's cut his feed. It's over. We've got this is far too much Arizona. We love the Pac-12. The whole point of having you on, we did the Pac-12 update. We love talking about the Pac-12. This is too far into the Pac-12 weeds. You're making the case of Arizona State basketball.
I'm sorry.
By pointing to Luther Muhammad as your guy. We've gone too far, Zach.
One thing I want to ask you is, are you guys going to the game tonight, the UCLA game?
I'm not. I was going to, and then USA Mexico is tonight as well, and I want to watch both of those. So
that's gonna be awesome.
Nice. Sit at home and
all right, boys.
The channels, but
be anyway. Well. Go Sun Devils, and we'll see who gets fired first, Bobby or Herm.
Hey, Zach. One last thing. Did you see the hoop schemes on your program on Heddick Smith? Did you watch this?
No, but I've known that story for years, obviously, because they would drag us in as managers and be like, never
great point shaving story.
Gamble. Great story. I tried to do a video on it at Yahoo a long time ago, and they're like, "Oh, we just don't think anyone cares." And it's like, "Yeah, no, you're right. Let's let Netflix."
Yeah,
make a
Netflix cares. Yeah,
they made it way better than I would have anyway. So, anyway, boys,
it's a great
doc.
Appreciate you. And if you want to catch up on ASU basketball, watch that doc, Hoop Schemes. Yeah. It was great. I learned a lot. I was like, I didn't know this much about Arizona State basketball.
It's the only documentary anyone's making about an ASU basketball program. Let me tell you that. So.
Do you want us to find another Arizona? Do you enjoy being our Arizona State representative? Because anytime
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anytime anything happens to Arizona State, you're the only guy in my life that's an Arizona State guy. So I'm just like, we got to get Schwartz's. All right.
Comes with great responsibility.
All right.
You know.
There you go.
All right, boys. I appreciate
See
you
you,
having
buddy.
me. Be well.
Thanks, Schwartz.
All right. Thanks to Zach coming on. Bold of him to do. Unlike Rutherford, who always complains every time we have him on when something bad happens at Louisville, Zach relishes it because he
leans
understands.
into it.
Yeah, he understands that Arizona State is frankly a joke.
Yeah, no, he gets that it's Schadenfreude. You know what I mean? It's like you come on for people to laugh at your own misery. Like that is what it's for. It's fun.
Go! We forgot to plug whatever Zach has going. Like honestly, I don't even know what Zach has going on.
Buckets.
Half the time.
The Buckets is
his
the digital
Buckets,
show.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah.
We used to work with him at the Ringer. By the way, if you're new to the program and you're wondering who the hell is Zach Schwartz and why do we have him on all the time, he's our good buddy from back in the day at the Ringer, and he does the show with Josiah Johnson now and works for Wave TV, I think. So go follow him on Twitter, check him out, and I don't know, and troll him when Arizona State sports suck. Anyway, moving on. Let's get to what I really want to talk about, Tate, which is the fraud power rankings. Speaking of the segue of Arizona State basketball into the fraud power rankings makes a lot of sense in my brain. So let's go. Spoiler alert: Arizona State not on the fraud power rankings because being a fraud, in order to be a fraud, you have to first present yourself as something. Yeah, you have to be something.
Yes.
And so Arizona State not on the list. I'm going to spoil that out of the gate. Not on the fraud power rankings. By the way, the Ohio State Buckeyes also not on the fraud power rankings. All you haters out there that were licking your lips, expecting we won the game. I will say that I did consider it. I thought about it for a second. I was like, dude, do I need to put the Buckeyes? Does the Big J need to come out and really observe this from a neutral point of view and put the Buckeyes on? And then I thought about it. I was like, no, we won the game. We won on the last second shot. It was a thrilling win. Who cares that it was against Akron?
If anything, it was for the crowd.
Yeah.
It was for the people to have a great time. You guys were trying to put on a good show, so I think you're right. You won.
Yeah,
it's
and
okay.
also, I'm going to very much contradict myself with everything I just said right there very shortly. So get excited about that. All right, fraud power rankings number 5 on the list. Jeff Capel. We're starting with Jeff Capel. Out of the gate, we got to talk about Jeff Capel because this is year 4 of Jeff Capel. You have explained to the people the importance of year 4. That year 4 is no more excuses. This is your program. Expectations. Yes. You built this. You have to wear this. Whatever happens is your responsibility. There's no more pointing fingers which way or another about Kevin Stallings left.
These are your guys.
Whatever. These are your guys. And Jeff Capel opens his year 4 season by losing by 15 points to the Citadel at home. Not what you want. Also, in year 4, Jeff Capel has had 0 winning seasons. Now, I understand he took over for Kevin Stallings. This was a very much a massive rebuilding project that I think any reasonable mind would give this man time and a little bit of patience and all that sort of thing. But 0 winning seasons, Tate. I'm not going to kill him for that per se. What I am worried about, and this is why Jeff Capel's on the fraud power rank, is that you lose to the Citadel, and then this is a man who makes his money, who has his brand nationally as a guy who can recruit. This is how he made his mark on the industry, was just dropping bags left and right, getting all the biggest
Blake
recruits.
Griffin.
Yes, Blake Griffin, all the Duke guys he brought in. This is what he's known for. Pitt's recruiting is a mess, Tate. There's no hope on the horizon for Pitt basketball recruiting. There's not it's not like Jeff Capel. It's not like next year he's got 3 5-stars coming in and they're gonna save Pitt basketball. Maybe he will. I don't know. Maybe something will happen between now and then and everything will be fine. But Jeff Capel has to be on the list, especially Tate with the Coach K farewell tour kicking off, and you got Coach K's disciples out here. You got Bobby Hurley and Jeff Capel out here. Just I don't know. Get it together. Get it together is what I would say. This is the time for all of you to come together and show your worth and honor Coach K by not sucking, and you're doing the opposite.
And the real, there was always this idea that Capel could sell the idea that he was going to be the heir to Coach K, right? That was always huge in his recruiting pitch, right? You go to Pittsburgh, you play for the future Duke coach, basically. Now that heir has been taken out of his balloon.
How are you spelling heir? You're spelling ERROR or H-E-I-R. How are you spelling?
Well, there is Air H-E-I-R that he was to Coach K, and now the air that was in that balloon has been taken out. You know what I mean? And regardless, both sides, Coach Capel has no bill of goods to sell, and that is what he was selling. The dream of it all has been taken away, and honestly, it sucks. Like I liked when Capel had the dream of being Coach K's guy. I think he did all. You know, we joke about where the bodies were buried. Capel knew where they were buried. And it still didn't get him the job. You know, Shire still got the job. So he is on the hottest seat right now. He's on a very, very hot seat. We did the hot or not. Capel should have been hot when we did that before.
Michael Scott playing the hot, ding, ding.
Exactly. That is Capel's seat right now.
Oh my god! All right, Jeff Cable, number 5, fraud power rankings. Oh, this is exciting. I'm in my element when I'm calling other people frauds. This is the joy of being in the media, is that you just get to attack other people and you don't actually have to.
And you go, what? I love the guy. I actually like the guy.
I actually like the guy. That's my favorite, by the way, is Tate. I've picked up on this with Tate, that the kiss of death from Tate Frazier is him saying, and I like the guy. And then he goes on and on.
I actually really like the guy.
Chris Mack, I like him. I like Amani Bates. I actually like the guy. It's just I think he's an absolute joke.
I think he took 14 steps before he took that shot. Yeah.
Number 4 on the fraud power rankings this week. This is going to surprise some people, Tate. I don't know how many people are paying attention to this. Oral Roberts, number 4 on the fraud power rankings, because Oral Roberts opens the season. The darling of the 2021 NCAA tournament. For those who might not remember, I'll say it again. I'll remind you till the end of time, because I want to give Oral Roberts their proper credit for that run that they went on. They beat Florida, a pretty good Florida, not a great Florida team, but they beat a pretty good Florida team. They take Arkansas, who was a great basketball team last year. They give Arkansas all they could handle. I come away from Oral Roberts' run last season thinking that they are right up there with the upper echelon of the SEC, obviously. I mean, you beat Florida and you give Arkansas. It was absolute embarrassment for the SEC to let Oral Roberts do that to you. That's all everyone was talking about. Is Oral Roberts going to be good? Kevin O'Banner transfers. Max Asmus comes back, though, and you're talking yourself into maybe Oral Roberts can pick up where they left off. They lose by 29, Tate, to open the season at Colorado State. 29 points. Colorado State won 109-80. They gave up 100. Like they were not good defensively at any point last season. They're not going to be good defensively this season. But you can't lose by 29. Like we talked about this in the preview about how relevant is Max Asmus going to be? How relevant is Oral Roberts going to be? Is anybody going to watch any of their games, or was that just a moment in time that came and went, and now we'll forget that Max Asmus even came back this season? I think we're going to forget that Max Asmus even came back. I don't think anybody's going to watch a single Oral Roberts game, and I don't think they're going to make the tournament. And it's a shame because of such a great run that they went on last year.
Yeah, and like Colorado State, I had a friend of mine who's a Colorado State grad, and he was asking me the odds for Colorado State, and I think they were like 1,000 to 1 to win the national championship. So it's not like Colorado State's like a world beater basketball program. You know what I mean? So to get blown out by them says something about this team. And Asmus is the classic. I mean, Curry got some coverage, but I mean it was kind of over and done with. And I feel like he's on the same track with his whole situation. I mean, maybe he has some like a Sports Center top 10 game where he has like 50 points or something, you know. But as far as just the coverage and the chance of them making the tournament, it seems
that's like
we're far removed from that.
The only hope we have to get Max Asmus back on the national radar is if he averages like 30 something a game, you know, and he's and he has like a couple games in a row where it's like he scored 50 on one night and then like followed it up with a 46 point performance, and you're just and that might get me to pay attention, but otherwise losing by 29 to open the season is rough. That's rough.
Yeah,
that's not a.
That's a fraud. That's not how what it sounds like.
That's a fraud. That's fraudulent. That's fraudulent. It almost, you know what it does? It almost reinforces that last year was the Mickey Mouse tournament, and that like last year almost shouldn't even count. You should just wipe it from the record books. I think that's something to keep an eye on as Oral Roberts progresses this season.
Poor Scott Drew finally gets it done.
Yeah. Get rid of it. Never happened. Number 3, fraud power rankings. John Rothstein.
Nice.
Number 3 on the fraud power rankings. I'm going to tell you why. John Rothstein on the phone call. I shared this with the friends of the program last week. John Rothstein on our big preseason phone call right going into the season that I had with John. I asked him what's your hot take, what's your opinion you're feeling good about, and I wanted him to say, the example I provided was that I'm not sure Texas is a top 5 team. I think Texas is more in the 10 to 15 range is where they should be. And that's what I thought John was going to say. John said instead that he believed that Nebraska and/or Northwestern could crack. No, not even and/or. He said and. Nebraska and Northwestern could crack into the top 8 of the Big Ten. Fast forward to opening night. Nebraska plays Western Illinois at home, Tate, and gets a big fat L, 75-74. They lose to Western Illinois at home to open the season. Nebraska cracking in the top 8, not happening in the Big Ten this year. That's fraudulent, John. Get it together. Quit tweet.
John.
Yeah, quit putting out your catchphrases and selling your merch and all that. We need you to lock in, John. We need you to understand the landscape of Big Ten basketball, that Nebraska and Northwestern have zero shot. No shot.
And also put on your journalist cap and stop believing the hype of the team telling you, like the PR of the team telling you they're going to be good. I feel like that's where this is coming from. It sounds like Northwestern and Nebraska were very nice to John, gave him a lot of access, and have been very kind. So he is paying them back with it's very Mel Kiper of him. This is what Mel Kiper used to do. He's like, if your program has a D end and you treat me right and you hook it up, he's going to be the number 1 D end on the board. You know what I mean? Like that. This feels very much like what John's doing, and that's not the journalism that we like to see.
John went and saw the Nebraska facilities in the offseason and was just like, man, what an insane facility. This facility is going to win the
This looks top 8 to me.
Top 8 facility in the Big Ten. Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe he cut out on the phone call and he's like, I think this is the year Northwestern and Nebraska's facilities can crack into the top 8.
They're actually top 8 programs. They're not top 8 teams, but they're top 8 programs.
Moving on, number 2 on the fraud power rankings list is a team that knows the fraud power rankings very well, very intimate. It is a staple in the fraud power rankings, and it is admittedly a little hypocritical that I said that Ohio State won the game and they don't belong on the fraud power rankings because they won. Meanwhile, I'm putting the Houston Cougars on my fraud power. We're starting where we left off, Tate. Houston Cougars, number 2 on the fraud power rankings, and I'm going to tell you why. Because unlike Ohio State, who, first of all, Akron is a much better team than Hofstra, so there's that. Number 2, Ohio State was winning the game for most of the game, and it was they were kind of in the driver's seat, and then EJ Liddell fouled a jump shooter, and Akron took the lead there at Akron. I don't know, I don't mean we were talking myself in circles.
I love that Ohio State has somehow found its way into the fraud power rankings, even though
I'm explaining
the
difference. I'm explaining why we're not frauds because Akron's very good. No. The difference was Houston was getting their ass absolutely handed to them on their home court the entire game, and they needed a miracle. They needed Hofstra to just shit the bed down the stretch. Houston was down 13 with 8:30 to play against Hofstra at home to open the season. Coming off a Final Four season.
Shout out to Speedy Claxton, by the way, the head coach of Hofstra.
Yep.
That's cool to see.
They ended up winning They forced overtime. They ended up winning. The tip of the cap. You won the game. That's why you're not number 1 on the fraud power rankings. I acknowledge the win. You pulled it out. This feels like we're headed down a familiar path with Houston basketball this year, where they're going to win these stupid games, and you're going to look up and they're going to be ranked 5th in the country because they're 17-0, and they've gone to overtime 4 times against teams that won't even sniff the NIT, much less the NCAA tournament. And then I'm supposed to believe that they're now a national title contender because of all this? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not buying into it. No.
Your best case scenario is that Oregon hands Houston a big whopping L in the Maui Invitational, and that kind of sends the message.
Dude, if Houston wins Maui, I'm so screwed. I'm so screwed. The fraud, if Houston wins the Maui Invitational, the fraud committee is going to really have to do some soul searching. We're going to have to go.
Yeah. You guys are going to have to call Condoleezza Rice. Yeah.
We're going to have to do a 2-week retreat and really circle the wagons and figure out how we're going to proceed. But right now, Houston looked very fraudulent against Hofstra, pulled out the W. Congratulations, hang the banner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we're on to you, Houston. We see where this is going.
Yeah, we see it.
I've seen this story before. And number 1, oh my God, this hurts. This really hurts. I cannot look the dog in the eye as I pull the trigger behind the woodshed here, because boy, this is like me shooting myself in the heart as much as it is shooting. I've lost track of the analogy here. Number 1 on the fraud power rankings, Tate, Tony Bennett.
Fair. Yeah.
It's tough.
It's been a tough road to this point. I mean, Tony, we didn't want it. We in fact were arguing that he deserved more respect. He should have been ranked higher. And it turns out that we were a little bit brazen. We were a little bit too emboldened. And Tony, I think, wants to teach his team a lesson this season, and this is the first lesson. And he lost to our troops close to Veterans Day, so I think it was more of a respectful move.
Great point.
So
Great point.
There are spin zones to be made for why Tony did what he did.
It's just, I mean, what we were talking about the preview we did earlier this week. We were talking about Virginia, and we said that the PR of Virginia is not great in the sense that you got to start strong and you got to finish strong, Tate, and you're allowed to lose games in the middle. If you come out of the gate hot and you don't choke in March, that's really all you need to get people to believe that you're like a great program, and that's really it. And Virginia last year did neither of those things. They lose to San Francisco, then they lose to Ohio. Those are the bookends of their season, basically, as far as like the what people remember. No one remembers that they won the ACC. Nobody remembers at all. In fact, nobody remembers that Virginia was the best team and historically the best basketball conference that this country has. What we remember is that Ohio embarrassed them in Assembly Hall to end their season, and this is, the first time we had seen Virginia on a national stage like that since they won the national title, which, like, now you have people coming out of the woodwork. And this is the reason I hate this. This is the reason I hate that Virginia's found themselves in this position by opening this season now, losing to Navy, is that you're going to get more and more people going back to 2019 and pointing out how fluky that was and how Diakite's shot doesn't fall. We're right. Like, Tony Bennett was one shot away like 5 different times, really. DeAndre Hunter's shot doesn't fall. Kai's free throws don't fall. Like, if he doesn't get that call against Auburn, you're going to get people to just start pointing to that entire run and saying they were one snap of the finger away from Tony Bennett being on the hot seat. There, he wasn't going to be on the hot seat. But, like, that's where, like, you see this going, is, like, Virginia, it would be an absolute disaster if not for that one national title. They're going to, but that one national title away. I don't like where this is going, but I have to do my job as a journalist and say that Tony, we need more, man. Like, this is the point, I guess, is that, like, we're fighting a bigger war here than just winning basketball games. We're trying to win PR battles, and you can't open a season after losing to a 13 seed. You can't now open a season by losing to Navy on your home court, where you scored 10 in the final 10 minutes. They scored like 2 points until Armand Franklin hits a shot down with 10 seconds left. We can't do that. That is devastating to the PR battle we're trying to fight here, and I'm worried that the 2019 title, people are just going to start chipping away at it as time goes on, and I don't like that one bit, because that was God's plan, baby.
Yeah, it does feel like Tony Bennett has a little bit of a good guy angle to him, and I think that you talk about the PR of it all. The reason why I call him the Dean Smith of this generation is because Dean Smith never did a really good job of, like, helping his own PR. For, a lot of people are like, he chokes in the big games.
Yes.
He does. His teams has all the talent, but he actually detracts from his talent and all that sort of stuff. And I think Tony has, like, a little bit of that Dean Smith quality to him, where even if things are going all great and we know he is this amazing coach and has created this great program, he's still going to lose some of these PR games. And I think they're going to be fine. Obviously, they did not look great against Navy, but I think they're going to figure it out by the time they get the ACC play. But like you said, people are already over them at that point, and they already have said that they are not. It doesn't matter. Exactly. He's already lost one battle. Yeah.
The only hope that Virginia has in winning back America this year is beating Duke and beating them handily.
And they never do that.
And they never do that. That's the problem. Because, like, even if you beat Carolina at this point, that no one
don't beat Carolina.
Yeah, but Carolina, like, at this moment in time, Carolina's not moving the needle because you guys sucked last year. You got a new coach. No, I know you think Carolina's going to be good. We respect that. But I'm just saying, in terms of, like,
we look great, by the way.
Yeah,
we look great.
Congratulations, hang the banner. You won one game. I'm with you, but I'm saying
undefeated. Hoover Davis.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, when Virginia beats Carolina, it's not like people are gonna be like, "Oh, I was wrong about Virginia. They're obviously very good."
No, you're right. I mean, they don't have many PR games ahead that can win this season back, and That's really unfortunate. And I had a lot of people reach out to me about that Navy. Like somehow a lot of people that are, I would call peripheral college basketball fans saw this loss or saw it on the bottom line and they're like, hey, what's going on with Virginia? You know what I mean? It was one of those games. And I think that's why Tony's got to be number one. I think it's a very fair number one ranking.
It's a fair number one. And I hate doing it. That doesn't mean he's number one the entire season. But right now, we got to figure something out in Charlottesville. We got to figure something out.
Yeah.
So there you go. Those are the fraud power rankings. Tony Bennett starts out at number one.
I like it.
That's God. I don't.
It does hurt. It does hurt the heart. I mean, especially because 2019 to me feels like both not that long ago and an entire century ago. You know what I mean? Like as far as how much things have changed seismically, not only in the culture, but just in college basketball.
Right.
Everything has changed a lot since 2019, and it feels very far removed from that. And that's what also hurts Tony, you know what I mean? I mean, Ty Jerome's on the Thunder, right? I mean, Kyle Guy's on the Cavs. Like, these guys are – it just feels so far removed from that
really
time,
does.
even though it's only 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
It feels like forever ago, and that's, again, there's a PR battle being fought with Virginia basketball, and as you said, Tony has no interest in fighting it, and there aren't a lot of people in the media that have an interest in fighting it. I was interested in fighting it, but when you lose the Navy like this, it's like, man, I don't.
No, you heard us, like as your soldiers, as your boots on the ground, and let's just be honest, Titus. You and I were scorned by UMBC. I mean, we obviously did with God's plan year, but the year before, 2018, we were. I mean, we were both like
that was the worst loss.
Virginia.
That was the worst loss of my professional career. Was Virginia losing to UMBC? Like in terms of like,
well, it broke our brains.
Yes,
it really did.
I stepped back.
It broke my brain. Yeah,
I stepped back and I was like, I'm wrong about everything. I've never been more sure of anything than that Virginia's going to win a national title under Tony Bennett, and now they just lost to a 16 seed by 20.
It like got blown out by him. I mean, it was shocking. And then they were all coming back. They went on this, whitewater rapids trip, together, and then, here we are.
Is that what we need? Do we need to take Tony on a whitewater rapids trip again and figure it out? I don't know. The problem too is like my sources for believing in Tony Bennett is basically like Kyle Guy. It's Kyle Guy and Chris Long. Like I would ask those guys, I'd be like, why should I believe in Tony? Like why should I not bail on Tony? Kyle is always going to believe in Tony no matter what happens. You know what I mean? Like he's obviously biased in the same way I would be if you asked me about that. Like when Thad Matta was about to get fired at Ohio State, I was like, this is the worst decision the school has ever made. What are you doing? Because that's how it works. And I understand it. So I'm not like saying Kyle's wrong. I'm just saying it makes it hard from my perspective because like I don't know how to feel about Tony is what I'm saying. I don't know. I need like a level-headed person to step in and be like, here's how we're going to fix this. Here's how Virginia, and all Kyle will say is just like, he's Tony Bennett. He's going to figure it out. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, I believe you, but I want to believe you more.
I believe you, but but can you at least give me something? Like give me something to hang my hat on here because you saying he's going to figure it out is not it right now.
Yeah. I want to believe so badly, but I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Shoutouts, closeouts. What do we got? Let's wrap this thing up.
Yes, Titus, starting with Leonard Hamilton in Florida State. I don't know if you saw this game. I mean, a lot of people weren't really tuned into Florida State, but this is a team that I'm high on. I think they have a lot of talent. And then I watched their game, and you and I always talk about the airport test. If you have not seen this Florida State team, they passed the test with flying colors. I mean, they are going to be absolutely incredible and a fun watch.
More
so there you go. First shout out to Leonard Hamilton.
Not more so than when Johnny Isaac was playing the 3 for him. That's like the all time when they had Ojo and Johnny Isaac and like that team was like the goddamn Monstars. You looked out at that team, you're like, why are they? They're bigger than they're a foot taller than everybody.
Kumaji, They had a ridiculous team. I mean, it might not be on that level, but they have a 7'4" guy from Europe that's on the way, by the way. So they don't stop.
I swear to God, Leonard Hamilton has a database. Leonard Hamilton, he is paid some recruiting service an absurd amount of money to like keep some recruits to skim recruits off the top, throw them over to this other database that no one else has access to. And he like logs onto it and just cracks his knuckles and he's like, all right, so let's find the 7'4" dude from Europe. Got him. Yes. You come on down, buddy.
Koprivica or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Come on over and play for us. Yeah.
Ojo and Kumaji, and I don't understand where these guys come from, but Leonard Hamilton's got it figured out. Good on him. My first shout out I want to give is Travion Williams. No, I'm gonna walk that back. Not to Travion Williams. I want to shout out the McDonald's on campus at Purdue, because the McDonald's that Tate as being famous for the place where Purdue Pete got arrested. Remember that story? You remember that story?
I love that story. Yeah, that was a great story. Yeah.
Purdue Pete gets arrested at McDonald's at Purdue. Apparently, the exact same McDonald's, Travion Williams, just got into an altercation with one of the workers at the McDonald's, and there's like I don't know, was he arrested or not arrested? We're trying to figure out what the hell happened here. This is public. Like, this isn't. I'm not scooping this. This is. I came across as this article talking about Travion Williams. Did not like how his fries were cooked. Apparently, he got into it with the. Was he actually? I should probably look this up. Was he actually arrested? I don't think he was.
I just can't believe that, like, we've had so many McDonald's stories, right? That, remember, because it was like the recruits were getting paid out of McDonald's bags that were at Tennessee football, right? That was like the story, and then also Purdue Pete get arrested at McDonald's. There was like a week that we had just straight McDonald's storylines in college sports.
Here's the story. So the statement released by Purdue said this: the Purdue Athletic Department was made aware of an incident involving student Travion Williams on the night of October 21st. The alleged incident was reviewed by law enforcement, campus officials, and the athletics department. Travion is an outstanding representative of this university, and it's unfortunate that he has to address accusations made that do not have merit and are unfounded. There we go. We consider the matter closed. So there you go. Nothing happened. He just, he probably sent some food back, and he was like, this is, or he probably was like, I don't know, it's a McDonald's on campus. I'm sure, like, he waited an hour for his McNuggets and fries or something. It was just like, what the hell are we doing here? Maybe he was criticizing the supply chain. What's wrong with the supply chain? He's shaking his fist at the sky.
He's making a commentary. He's making social commentary. I mean, are you worried about Purdue now? Like, is this a red flag? Like, are we eyes emoji looking at Purdue? Because this is how it starts. This is like the first domino of, like, off the court stories. You know, it starts.
I know, but this is Purdue. Every Purdue fan I know knows that the expectations that have been placed on Purdue basketball are a death sentence. That, like, it's inevitable that something's going to go wrong at some point this season. So I think they're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and because of that, I am also waiting for the other shoe to drop. That at some point, I am going to jump off the Purdue bandwagon. This is not it. This is not what's making me jump off the bandwagon. I'm still fine. I still believe in Purdue, but yeah, the matter's closed. He didn't get arrested. He didn't. If like the exact same thing happened to Purdue Pete happened to Travion Williams, I'd be a little concerned. But I think it's fine. I was just pointing out that there's something going on at this Purdue McDonald's where.
Yeah, no, this Purdue McDonald's has too much power. You know what I mean?
Power,
they obviously they run campus, and they're getting an attitude about it, and it's an uproar. We gotta go there and do our own research, like, see what's happening at this McDonald's.
It is in the news a lot. We'll put it that way. So there you go. Any other shout outs?
It feels very much like this. It feels like very much like the Seinfeld soup situation. No soup for you. So, like, they're not giving fries out if you're not really falling in line. I wanted to shout out, or at least, like, give you the heads up that I was in a room last night with Roy Williams. Of course, he is the ambassador of this Asheville Championship. This is his tournament. He's from the mountains of North Carolina, so I'm like his media consigliere because he doesn't want to do media stuff. But in the room last night, Rick Stansberry, the ultimate bad guy, Roy Williams, the ultimate good guy. They are obviously on different sides of the bag spectrum. And when Roy was leaving last night, Rick Stansberry was like trying to get a picture with Roy Williams, and Roy got out of there scot free. You know what I mean? Like he gave the white wave. You know, he's like, oh, I would, but I got to get out of here. But all I could think about was that picture going viral because it would make zero sense, right? Like those two in a picture together, especially in retirement. But Rick Stansberry, he was introduced as the best coach you never heard of, and he took it personally. He was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, "What?" He's like, "You better have heard of me. I'm Rick Stansberry." So bad guys, good guys. College basketball is here. It's back. So I just want to shout out to the coaches, right? I mean, you and I do that segment, and it is funny. Like, there are two sides of the coin in college. Even though everyone's walking the same fine line, you know what I mean? There's like,
you got to be careful. You got to be careful because that is the move now on the internet, is just to tweet pictures of people with other people to say like you're
and then say you're friends.
You're friends. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. You're in the same room as this person.
We go way back.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the move. Explain this. And you're like, what? How did I?
He got out of there. He was like, oh, I'll see you on Sunday. I gotta get out of here.
Good job, Roy. Masterful work.
Avoid the bad guys.
I want to shout out to, speaking of guys being on the opposite spectrum, I want to shout out Brad Davison and Bo Borowski, who we've covered their rivalry before. We're going to cover it again on the show, but Bo Borowski did not do Wisconsin's game, but I want to shout them out for separate reasons. Number one, we'll start with Brad Davison. Got a flop warning, Tate. 11 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first half. You brought up Tony Bennett losing to Navy right around Veterans Day.
Yep.
For the troops. Brad Davison gets a flop warning with 11:11 on the clock, and I have to ask you: is the right around Veterans Day? Was that the play? Was that going through Brad Davison's mind? I saw a lot of people ripping him for it, saying, you know, this is we're 8 minutes into the season and he's already getting flop warnings. And I saw the bigger picture, which is that Brad Davison respects the troops in a way that no one else does, and wanted to pause the game with 11:11 to play and have everyone take a moment and think about everything as he was flopping.
I see that. I also see it, you know, from the perspective of let's all make a wish, and our wish was granted. We wanted him to get called out for flopping as soon as possible, and wish come true, because he delivers the goods. The man does not miss. Like, if you just show Buzzcut Brad, he does not miss. Like, any opportunity to prove to you he is who you thought he was, Brad Davison is there. He will
also
get the job done.
You know how
11-11. Thank you, Brad.
You know how guys like athletes will take an off season to reinvent themselves and come back and like have a different skill set, a different they're going to pass more, they're going to work on their jump shot, or you know, I'm going to try to be more aggressive with my offensive rebounding this season. I did something I need to be whatever. Brad Davison does not reinvent himself. Brad Davison is he is who we thought he was.
He is who we thought he was. Yes.
In the words of the late Denny Greed. They are who we thought they were. That is Brad Davison. We love him for it. You know exactly what you're getting out of Brad at every single time you watch him play. On the other side of the coin, Bo Borowski. Shout out to him, because Bo Borowski called the Michigan Buffalo game, which I watched all of it, and we Michigan fans, we don't. We'll talk about it later. We don't need to. Like, Michigan's not going to suck, Tate. Is that what you want me to say? All right. You want me to say Caleb Houston's like good? Is that what you want me to say? I'll say it.
I think Michigan's a Final Four team, right? Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Michigan looks like a Final Four team.
I hate Hunter Dickinson so much, but I also understand that he wants me to hate him, so I want to not hate him. But then him wanting me to hate him makes me hate him more, to where I can't contain my hatred for him, because this man is like It is unfathomable how many boxes he checks on like the hatred wish list of like what you want out of a college basketball player to hate. Oh my god. A dude on Buffalo takes a charge and he's laying there and the guy's just trying to get up. He takes a charge on Dickinson. Dickinson's just laying on top of him. And then the dude's like, hey, you massive oaf of a human being, can you please get off of me? And like kind of pushes him. And then Dickinson is the victim, who like acts like, you know, he's like, bro, I was just laying on you. Like, what? I can't lay on you? And it's like, no, you literally can't lay. Like, what is going on here? I'm losing my mind. But then I also realize this is what he wants. He's trying to get a rise out of me.
Yes.
So like, I'm trying.
He's also trying to get in the head of his opponent. Yeah. Yes. He got in your head.
So I'm, like, damn it, he got my head. And then I'm watching Dickinson play, and I'm like, this guy is a poor man, Mitch McGarry. Like, he's not that good. But then also like he finishes the game with 20 whatever points and however many rebounds, and he's the player of the game. And I'm like, I also understand that like, he is good, but he's not good, and I'm going to prove it. Like that is. I cannot wait for the week where I get to put Hunter Dickinson on the fraud power rankings. I just want to say that, but I gotta I can't do it yet, and that's what's so frustrating. And I know he wants me to hate him, and I know that he's not good, but he is good, but he's hateable, but he wants to be hated. It's like the dude is breaking my brain. I'm in a funk, and anyway. Back to Bo Borowski. Bo Borowski in this game, he called 3 double technicals. Maybe not him, but
Are you serious?
The Bo Borowski crew called three different instances where they busted out the double technical in Buffalo, Michigan. And the double technical is the most cowardly move by a ref that could possibly exist. And Bo Borowski went to that well 3 times, so shout out to him for that.
It's like offsetting penalties. It's like, what's even the point of telling us? Like, if it's going to offset and nothing's affected, and we're just basically going to replay it down, like, don't even waste my time with this. And that is the double text is the same theory. It's like no one gets any benefit from this. Both sides are, I guess, like it's basically like getting a slap on. It's the definition of getting a slap on the wrist without even slapping the wrist. You know what I mean? It's just so dumb and pointless. And it's for the refs. It's for Borowski to be on TV or Teddy to be on TV.
And it's never even either. Like the offsetting penalties is always a case where like a guy grabbed the quarterback by the face mask and broke his neck, like ripping the face mask around and turning his face all the way 180 degrees. But then also there was a slight illegal motion on the offense. So those are offsetting penalties. And it's like, how's that? Yeah. Those shouldn't be equal.
Also roughing the passer, offsetting penalties. Ball will be spotted at the 30.
Yeah. Your quarterback is broken in half, but also your wide receiver scratched.
You have your backup quarterback in now, but offsetting penalties.
But also your wide receiver twitched right before the ball was snapped. So fair's fair. We gotta.
That's on you guys.
We gotta offset.
Get it together.
I think that's it. I don't know. Shout out to OU. Ohio University beat my dad's Belmont Bruins to open the season. Shout out to the MAC in general, dude. The MAC looks good. Like Akron gave Ohio State all they could handle. Northern Illinois wins at Washington. Buffalo played well at Michigan. I don't think it was like I wasn't thinking Buffalo was ever going to win, but Buffalo like hung around against Michigan. That was a pretty good game. I don't know. The Pac-12 was Miami, Ohio beat Georgia Tech too. So and then OU beats the snot out of Belmont, who Belmont was a team that could theoretically be ranked. Supposed to be something at some point this year. So shout out to the MAC in general. The MAC is the MAC better than the ACC? People are saying, Tate.
I will say it's definitely better than the Pac-12 according to the internet. The internet calmed down on the Pac-12. Stop yelling at the Pac-12. Stop being mean to the Pac-12. Stop grouping them in together, lumping them in together. I hope that my final thing is that I hope that UCLA shows some they show something tonight, right?
Yeah.
They show the world that hey, we are here, we are legit. If you come to Pauley, it's going to be loud. It's going to be a tough environment. And I saw Jay Billis is there. I mean, the whole college basketball universe, right? That they are coming there to try to make this a statement game for UCLA. So I hope Johnny, Jaime Jaquez, they make it happen.
I do love that it tips off at 11:30. I understand people on the East Coast are not going to watch and whatever, but the UCLA needs this. Like UCLA for Pac-12 basketball to be back for real. You got to start calling the shots with the TV stuff, and it cuts both ways because like you got to play at a time where the rest of the country can watch and see how good you are, and I get that argument. But also when you're kowtowing to the rest of the country and UCLA is tipping off at like 5:30 local time, and traffic's a mess and no one's coming to the games, and that creates a problem too. You need to be for UCLA to be good. They tipping off at 8:30 local time. They're saying Pac Pauley, let's go nuts. This is the huge game. This is because honestly, whether you watch or not, if you wake up tomorrow on the East Coast and you see that UCLA beat Villanova by 10 plus, that has your attention. You don't even have to watch a second of the game.
Absolutely.
If you just see the score, that has your attention. I nothing against Villanova. I'm cheering for UCLA for that reason. Just for that would be great for college basketball to have like a legitimate West Coast presence where UCLA and Gonzaga prove that they should be the top 2 teams in the country. Would be awesome. But I don't know. It's going to be a shootout, dude. Both these teams, I couldn't believe like the over/under is like 138. I want to say in this game, which seemed crazy low to me. Because I like both these teams sucked at defense last year and have incredible offense. So I don't know. This is a stay away tape.
Well, I know. I was gonna say, that Vegas knows something that we don't know. I also just love the idea that, I think the Warriors have convinced the East Coast that it's kind of like a choice. You can stay up and enjoy the show, right? Or you can, like you said, you can see the highlights in the morning. And either way, it kind of is like an understood thing. And I think if UCLA can lean into that and have that same sort of this is what West Coast primetime looks like, and we get to dictate our terms of primetime. It's a W for everybody, and it creates an atmosphere. The biggest problem with Pauley was that it is the place that should have an atmosphere. I mean, you talk about 11 banners and all this sort of stuff, but they need to play it past 7:30. They need to tip at a normal primetime tip, and now they finally get that on the West Coast.
Yeah,
so
no, for real, that's a legitimate thing, man. Like when they were tipping off, when they tip off at 6 local time, it's impossible to get I don't know. I'm not breaking any news here. Traffic is bad in LA, and people do want to go to those games. But I don't know if you're getting off work at 5.
You do the risk reward of it all. You're like, I'm not going to get off until 6, so I might as well just go to a bar and watch from there.
Yeah. So Hopefully it's rocking tonight. Hopefully it's awesome. Also, shout out to the United States men's national team playing Mexico tonight. Need the W.
Nice.
This is huge. I absolutely hate the Mexican soccer team, and I want to beat their brains in. And I hope we destroy them because this is very important. Unless we lose. If we lose, then I never cared about it, and soccer's stupid, and I don't care anyway. So. Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I mean, CONCACAF is always us and Mexico. We all remember what happened in 2018 with Trinidad and Tobago. So this is like a big moment for soccer in the United States in general. I feel like we need a moment of like, we're all back in, you know what I mean? So make it happen. We got to beat Mexico.
Gotta happen. Beat Mexico. All right, that's the show. Thanks to Zach Schwartz coming on and letting us drink your tears. Shout out to Arizona State fans everywhere. That's so good, dude.
Shout out to Herb Sendek. I hope Coach Sendek is doing well.
You got Arizona State people clamoring for Herb Sendek to come back to Arizona State. That's a huge W for Herb. Huge W.
NC State fans would never.
Enjoy the weekend. Two massive college basketball games. Texas Tech, Gonzaga, UCLA, Villanova. Exciting times to be a college basketball fan. Can't wait to talk about it next week. See you guys.